Let's tell you a story about Kenyan football. In your case, you're about to watch a story about Kenyan football. This story takes you back to the nostalgic days. Some of us were not even born yet. But this story is worth the airplay. This is a story about Kenyan football. Let us tell the story about the football pitch. This is a story about Gor Mahia Football Club. This is the story of one, if not the greatest club in the history of our country, Kenya. Nevertheless, that is all it is. History. Looking at Gor Mahia today, I can't help but say it remains to be a shell of what it used to be. A deserted home. The legend will someday read, once upon a time, there was a great club. You know of those haunted houses you watch in movies? Yes, that is what Gor Mahia is today. I could be wrong, but if the stories that have been making rounds about this club are anything to go by, you will more likely agree with me. But that is a mood wrecker, especially considering the journey I am about to take with you. Ignore the negative vibes. This is a great happy piece. Delve home with me. The year is 1963. The month is December, and a son has been born in Kabondo, South Nyanza, now Rachwonyo district in Othoro Central, and the nation just became free. The man who sat his KCPE at Othoro Primary School before moving to Wangapala Secondary School takes his seat with ease. He leans back in his seat, a man of no mean achievement, even without listening to his story. His sitting posture tells a lot of the man.
The love for soccer.
In school, then a Form 3 student. His resolve to move to the next level saw him join Kisumu Hot Star in 1982. This was where he met his inspiration, James Otieno. For 3 years, Juakali was at Kisumu Hot Stars until the side was relegated to the Provincial League. His big break knocked at the door on 18 February 1986 when Gor Mahia Scouts men came calling for him, together with his teammate, the late Anthony Ndolo.
where I joined other friends from Leopards, the likes of Mickey Weche, Robert Matano, Tony Lidonde, name them. We were together in railways. Other friends were in Posta, Kenextel, Kenya Airways, Ministry of Works. So those institutions were employing players for the sake of competition in what we were calling them Kikoso. That is Kenya Communication Sports Organization. That was, I think, the epic of institutions in this country, and it was preparing players for bigger stages.
If you were wondering why they gave him the rider Juakali, here it is. Being a fullback, he used to do it in full without holding back. In other words, he was a sweeper. Everything goes, and the fans got a rider for that. It was Juakali.
But I accepted it. I think the fans can tell better, those who were in the stadium. Because I'm being told that I was given that name because I was drying people without any mercy. It was not easy to pass me. So it was a never say die position. So I think that's how the name came about.
On return to the CAF after the ban, Gor Mahia was back, and back with something to prove. The first match was in Somali, where they won home and away. The next match was against El Merreikh of Sudan, and his notable memory from the match was their goalkeeper Ahmed Rehma was one of the best goalkeepers in Africa. It was a powerhouse, and also Gor Mahia was a powerhouse in itself with 8 players in the Stars lineup. That was no mean feat. The match
from both the players and the office to achieve for the club and the country. And I believe we did it. And that also sold me very well. The other bit is I also played, when I was in Gor Mahia, I also played amongst individuals, if you can remember the names, is the current president of Liberia, George Weah. I played against him when Harambee Stars played the Lone Stars from Liberia. Those are good moments for me. And picking the Continental trophy is also a chapter that so many teams in this country have desired to achieve, but they've fallen by the wayside before reaching that level.
Another memorable moment in his cherished career crops up in 1990. The Cup of Nations qualifier played in Malawi. Here, the late Anthony Ndolo Suzuki earned himself another rider to his name in addition to the one he already had. It was Blantyre. Looks like the story for another day. This is a highlight in his checkered career because of the dramas that surround it.
My lowest moment was when Gor Mahia played FC Leopard.
Hope as they were about to face one of the strongest sides in Africa then. Yet the federation was delaying to release the players' allowances. Long after the team had packed and ready to leave, only waiting for their allowances, Marshal Mulwa, the then Federation Secretary General, threatened the team. He sends Jokadenge to go out there and inform the team that if they did not want to fly to Malawi, they could as well go home. After a bit of back and forth, money suddenly appeared from the Federation knows where. The Stars left the country on Saturday at around 4 a.m. for Malawi, yet the game was to be played at 4 p.m. the same day. At 10 a.m. the team a rider to go with his name.